And I think you talked about stress earlier. Before we talk about other people's stress, could I also ask you personally, because I think a lot of people, I mean, at least for me, at least, we sometimes put you on a pedestal.
Yeah.
That everything's
true.
there, is perfect.
Yeah. That's so wrong. It's like a biggest misconception ever.
So I want to ask you, right? Do you personally face any stress from being an online
100%. 100%. Let's just say this. Everyone feels stress. If you care enough about your job, you will feel stress. Right. The question is how much? And is that stress pushing you forward, or is the stress causing you to freeze up and not do anything about it? That's the question. So everybody feels stressed. The better question to ask is, how do you deal with it? Because the people that deal with it well, do well. The people that don't is the one that's crumbling.
Sure. Okay. I mentioned also, like when I chatted with you, you mentioned that because you're an online personality, sometimes there is a need to pander. Then you gave me a need about JJ later.
Yes. Okay, so a bit of context, right? So I was telling Kevin, Derek, I don't know who's the guy. Yes. I was telling Kevin that while sometimes, creating content can be quite challenging. Like compare myself, years ago where I have no followers to right now, the followers I have, I realized that I feel I have a lot more hesitation in creating content. Like I think a lot more before I put a piece of content out there because there are a lot of people that are going to watch it. Like in the past, you don't worry about that. You only got one people watching it, one person watching it. Who cares? I just put it out there. Sure. And so there was a period of my life where I stopped producing content, or I was really, really hesitant in putting out content out there. And then one day I was invited to JJ's concert, and something that JJ said to me made me tear and really helped me got a breakthrough. This is what he said. He said this to us. He said that, I've been in the singing career for 15 years. And part of the music process is we figure out what kind of genre of music that you guys like, and then we go produce it for you. I mean, it's very logical. It makes sense, right? But you see, for some reason, that process kills him in terms of his creativity and self-expression. And it got to the point where he got so stressed up and that he lost his voice. Right. And that was when he panicked because, a singer losing his voice, it's like you're losing your only rice bowl. And he said that there was a very dark period of his life where he was reflecting, contemplating, and he realized something, that music to him is a form of self-expression, right? It is for him to share a part of himself to the world. It's not for the world to tell him what he should be expressing. Right. Because it's like you telling me how I should live my life. And that's not the way life should be lived. And that was his moment of breakthrough when he realized that music is an accurate, honest representation of who you are at that moment. So every piece of content that you create, if I translate that to what he says, is an accurate, honest representation of your intellect at that moment, of your revelation at that moment, of your emotion at that moment. It's not going to be perfect because we are evolving. But haven't you seen your content 10 years ago and right now? And you would think that, 10 years ago, my content is horrible. Yeah. But back then when you produce it, you never think it's horrible because it's at your level of evolution. And that's how JJ wrote this song, which is called 不为谁写的歌, a song that I don't write for anybody else but himself. And I tell you, when I heard that, I teared because everything that he's feeling is exactly how I felt. I felt like all of a sudden I have to pander to my audience. I have to create content that's popular. I felt like because I teach social media, every single piece of my content must go viral. And when you set that kind of crazy expectations, it does something to your mental wellness. Yeah, so I think JJ saved my life, man. When I heard that.
Compelling story.
Exactly. And I told myself, you know what? I'm not going to create content for anybody. I'm going to create content that it's valuable, in my opinion, and I'm going to put it out there, and anybody that likes the content, comment on the content, these are the people that appreciate it at that moment. That's great. That's my followers.